welcome to a new vlog. I'm having an early morning walk this morning. I'm out just before breakfast enjoying the sunshine because it's actually a sunny morning, which is so lovely and quite rare in January. So I'm really enjoying it today, just having a little walk around the garden before going back for breakfast. Hello again everyone. So I had a really nice walk this morning, came back and had a breakfast, got another cup of tea because it really is very chilly out, and I think we got the best of the day already because it was lovely and sunny first thing this morning, but it's already clouded over now. But never mind, I'm planning a nice cozy day today. I want to do a bit of baking because I want to make Nigella's coffee and banana loaf cake, which is so good. It's one of my favourite bakes and it's the perfect cake to make on the weekend. It's a good one to make on a Saturday, for instance, so you can enjoy it Sunday morning, because it's even better when it's kept for a day. So I want to make it for Mum and I to enjoy for a nice leisurely breakfast over the weekend, but I also want to give some of it away to one of our neighbours who's helped us a lot lately because our car keeps not starting, like the battery keeps dying. Because it has been really cold this month, so he's been really nice and jump started it for us a couple of times already this month, so I'm going to say thank you with cake which I think will be appreciated. So I'm going to do that today. Lovely sort of cozy day at home is what I'm looking forward to. It was so nice though to get out this morning. I mean, it's really lovely to see January in the garden that we have access to. One of my resolutions this year is to really try and get there as often as possible and to have a daily walk first thing in the morning, because I find if I don't do it first thing, then the day can just get away from me, and especially in the winter there aren't very many hours of light, but I do get up very early, so I really want to take advantage of getting out as soon as it's light enough to just have a 10-minute walk. It's not that long, but I feel it makes a big difference to set the tone of the day and also to help me sleep better at night. But I wanted to share some of my resolutions and thoughts for the year ahead. What's quite nice about doing this video very late in January is that some of the things I've been trying out already I've kind of learnt from and adjusted a bit already by this point, so I'll be able to tell you a bit more about my resolutions, but also how I've already tweaked some, or what I've found works and what doesn't work quite so well for me. So I'm looking forward to having a chat about that once I've got the cake made and can enjoy it. But I did manage to do another of my resolutions this morning, which was that I'm trying to keep a nature journal. So I wrote in my Seasons of Story community at the start of the year a post all about my note-taking habits, the way I write in notebooks, how I use notebooks, but also about diaries and the type of diaries that I'd like to try, but I find it quite hard to keep a daily diary. But something I really would like to do is more of a nature diary. And I found that by trying to make it a habit to go for a walk, it really does help me to then also have the habit of journaling about it. And I do that whilst I'm having breakfast, just at the kitchen table. And I'm really enjoying this practice already. I mean, this morning I wrote about the lovely snowdrops that we saw, that were out under the quince trees. There was a lovely robin singing, which I tried to film, but I think it might not have worked because it was really silhouetted against the sun, so it looked very dark. But it was a lovely moment for me in the garden. The Chinese witch hazel is out and it's just incredible. It's this like neon yellow colour. So there's so many muted tones and like browns and greys in the January garden, but appreciating the colour that is there is just something I really enjoy trying to do and to journal about it. So like I said, I'll tell you more about my routines and what I'm actually trying to accomplish this year and why I want some of these routines later on. But I also wanted to just catch you up a little bit with what I've been reading. So I think in my last video I told you that I was reading Winter in Thrush Green. This was a reread for me and I finished it. And it was just a lovely, cosy read. I love the way that Miss Read writes about the seasons. She just hits all the right notes, so that was really nice, really charming one. And I've been trying to decide what to read next. I am still reading The Morville Hours, which I'm loving as well, and definitely is partly inspiring my nature journaling. But I also actually have picked up a couple of books. I had a voucher to spend in Waterstones, so I picked up one of the British Library crime classics I've been wanting, which is Tea on Sunday by Lettice Cooper. Lettice Cooper is one of the Persephone authors. They republished her books, The New House and National Provincial. And so I'm really intrigued to read this one, a mystery by her. I didn't even know she wrote mysteries. So I really am very keen to read this, and it starts off in February. So I'm hoping this will be quite a good seasonal read as we go into February. And then Enza in my Seasons of Story community wrote about this book, The Good Wife of Bath, and she made it sound really good. And it's based on one of the characters in Chaucer's The Canterbury Tales, and it's told all from her point of view. So I'm just really intrigued by this one. So I hope to get to that one as well. But anyway, let's go down and get baking. Just before the next part of my video, I want to share my new Serious Readers offer code with you. I'm so pleased to say that Serious Readers are very kindly sponsoring today's video. As you know, I'm a really big fan of their reading lights. This is my high definition floor light that I use all the time. So I'm so pleased to have a new offer code to share with you. My offer code is Miranda, all capital letters, just Miranda. And if you use that offer code when you get any of the high definition lights by Serious Readers, then you'll get £150 off any of the high definition lights, as well as free shipping within the UK. Reading is part of my job, so it's really important to me that I have a great reading light as I read every evening. I read for hours every week, and the evenings get very dark, especially in the winter months. So I've had this light for over 2 years now, and I love it so much. It's made such a wonderful difference to my reading life. I really like to read in the living room in the evenings, but I also like to read upstairs in my bedroom sometimes, or I like to journal upstairs. So for me, what was really great about my Serious Readers light is that they have cordless options, which means that I can just pick up this light, and carry it to wherever I need to use it in the house. And that's really handy for me, especially as we do have a very low lit house, especially in the winter months. So it really does make a wonderful difference to me to be able to just have a good reading light wherever I need to use it. Another thing that I love so much about the Serious Readers lights is the amazing light quality. The high definition lights by Serious Readers feature something called daylight wavelength technology, which essentially replicates the daylight spectrum as closely as technically possible. So I feel like I'm reading in a pool of natural light, or at least as close to natural light as you can get when I'm using my Serious light. And I just love that great light quality that really helps me to reduce eye strain. I also like that I can adjust the brightness levels on my light as well as the width of the beam of the light, so I get just the right amount of light that's good for me. Anyway, if you also would like a great reading light in your life, then do take advantage of my offer code. Again, that's Miranda, all capital letters, Miranda. And if you use that offer code, it will get you £150 off any of the high definition lights by Serious Readers, as well as free shipping within the UK. I'll put my offer code as well as the relevant link in the video description box just down below, so you can check out all of the details there. But now let's get back to my video. Alright, so I'm in the kitchen with Mum.
Hello everyone.
And ready to make Nigella's Italian breakfast banana bread.
It's one of my favourites.
Yes, one of mine too. And you especially love it because there's coffee.
Lots of coffee flavour, yes, it's lovely.
But I actually really like it too.
Yeah, and she's not even a coffee drinker, as you know, so that's
but this
special.
one's really lovely. It's from her Nigelissima cookbook, which I think is my very favourite of her cookbooks. We talk about this,
I think it is mine for sure, because I just think, perhaps it's because we've cooked nearly everything in it.
Yeah, maybe. I've cooked so much from this one.
I don't like licorice.
No, I know.
I don't like, but yeah.
But yes, I have cooked so much from this one. I just love it.
You introduced me to this one because you'd got it before I was living with you.
Yes.
And had already gone through pretty much. And I used to go up to Miranda on the weekends and say, oh, where did you get this recipe? It's delicious. And she'd tell me.
Yes, because this is when I was living in Kingston, in Greater London, and you would come up for the weekends from Dorset.
Yeah.
But for the first time, when I moved from a tiny studio flat in Hampstead, North London, to a flat in Kingston, I had an oven. For the first time after years, because my studio flat was so tiny, all it had was a little 2-ring hob and no oven.
Yeah,
so
a microwave, was it?
There was a microwave, but it wasn't a microwave oven.
No.
And there was no room to kind of have that as well. It was a really, really tiny flat. So I was so excited by finally having a proper kitchen and oven again, that this was one of the first cookbooks I got when I was in Kingston, and I just cooked so much from it.
I remember.
And introduced you to loads of the recipes.
Yes,
because I cooked for when you came.
Yes, and I got it on Kindle, so I'd be trying them out too, and it was really nice. I'd say, I've made the Italian breakfast bread today, and you'd be like, oh, yes, me too. It's a good one for the weekend, isn't it?
It's a really lovely recipe for the weekend, because it's just the sort of thing to enjoy on a lovely, slow, leisurely Sunday morning. That's what we like to do, isn't it?
And it's one that she always says to leave it a day or two before you slice it.
So you can make it on Saturday afternoon, enjoy it on Sunday morning, and if it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
And okay, so let's get started.
Do you want me to just sort of step by step guide you?
Yes, okay.
Yeah. There we go.
So I've already oiled the loaf tin, and the oven is heating up. So what's the first step?
So the first step is to mash the bananas.
Yeah.
And you've put a pinch of salt in. So go ahead and
it's
mash
with the
away.
vanilla essence, isn't it?
Yes, you can add vanilla essence too.
Yeah. I'll mash these.
Yeah.
I think it was funny how in lockdown just everyone went mad baking banana bread.
Well, we were surprised because we'd always actually been a big fan of banana muffins or banana bread. Maybe it's because of our time in the States. You know,
Maybe
that was
it was
something
more
we
of an
made.
American thing.
I think a lot of people loved it because they discovered, like we did, it's so quick, so easy,
Yeah.
and freezes well, and it's a
Really
general
tasty.
favourite. And you could, of course, get bananas, which was a plus.
Well,
more exotic things were
yes.
harder to get during lockdown.
But I love sort of plain, simple cakes. I made a banana cake earlier this month.
That was delicious too. It was a different one.
That was really nice. It was a different one. It was more of a sort of Scandinavian recipe.
Yeah.
So it had cardamom and stuff in it.
It was very good.
And that was lovely. And it's just the type of thing, a banana cake or a banana loaf. I think it's such a nice late winter recipe because you don't want, after all the richness of Christmas, it's nice to have a kind of plain cake to enjoy.
I do so agree.
And I don't believe in going to absolutely no cake in the winter.
Gosh, not.
So this is just such a nice one to have. But I mean, I make this all the time, really.
Yeah, you do. She does.
It's a nice one actually for a gift. Like I said, I'm giving most of this one to our neighbour. But I've also baked this banana loaf cake as like a housewarming gift or part of a gift in the past, or to bring round to friends if you go for dinner. You know, sometimes it's nice to bring something they can enjoy in the morning.
That's what I think is very, very thoughtful when you do that, because I remember that sometimes the morning after the night before, you might not have quite washed everything up, or you might be loading a dishwasher again, or something.
Or just be feeling tired.
So it's quite nice. You can sit with your tea and have a slice of the gift that you've been given. And how lovely is that?
Yeah, it's a nice one to do for that.
Yeah. So that, if you put it in the big bowl, because then what you're going to do is be in the oil, which is here.
Okay. Yeah, this is an oil-based cake, so it's quite American in that way.
Yeah.
I always think that a lot of American recipes use oil.
They do. They do.
And that's nice for a loaf cake.
Very nice.
And this one is a nice moist one.
It is delicious.
So I just beat these together, don't I?
Yes, you do.
Okay, great. Right, so it'll be a bit noisy for a minute. It's looking creamy and delicious already.
So wonderful.
It does.
Yeah. So now you're going to add in the eggs one at a time, beating after each one, and then you add after that the sugar.
Yeah.
Nice, lovely. Oh, that yolk is so orange. We get lovely organic eggs locally, and
they're nice, aren't they?
Yes.
I always appreciate good eggs. A lot more yellow now.
Yes, it has.
It's a richer yellow.
And
so I'll put the sugar in. Lovely. Just scrape down this one.
Yeah, you know, looking at that, I just love Mason Cash bowls, and I noticing the different ones, the different types, and
it's always been a part of my life because you always had them.
I know,
they just mean baking to me.
Yeah, I just always love them, and I think it's so wonderful now. You can get different colours. I mean, I've got the traditional beige as well, you know.
No, I do. I love the different colours you can get. They're really
lovely.
Nice. Yeah.
I was just thinking though, is this the first time you've shown our new trolley?
Oh, I think it is actually. You can see
we're in a bit to each other, was this?
Yeah, this was a really good sale purchase.
Yes,
and I've been wanting a kitchen trolley or island for so long, because you know, we used to be at this table just behind me whenever I was doing any baking or anything. And that would give me such backache, like leaning over that table. I think I made sausage rolls once when you have to roll out the pastry and everything. No, it was little phyllo parcels actually. And it was something fiddly with
there was a lot of
pastry.
Them.
It was a lot. We were doing it for a party.
Yeah.
And so I was fiddling with a lot of pastry and putting a lot of sort of phyllo in mini muffin tins and things. And my back hurt so much afterwards.
Poor girl.
Because it's really low, that table. And
It
I
is.
mean, we're not tall. But having this height is so perfect.
It is,
So
it is. And I
really
find I can
thrilled.
lean on it, which
Yeah,
for
it's
my
good for
legs
you,
is really good. And I
actually.
always have my stick, so I can sort of lean
Yeah, we
against.
can sit down if you get
No,
a
I'm
bit
all right.
tired.
I'm all right right now.
Yes, so yes, this was our lovely Christmas gift for each other, which, I mean, I don't know how I lived without it now.
No, now of course I use it all the time.
Yeah,
I'm forever
all the
sort of
time.
thinking, I'll just put that on the
Yeah.
island. Yeah.
So now I add the dry mix.
Yes, it is.
It's time.
It's the flour and the bicarb of soda and the espresso powder is all in there.
Yeah. If I can find this recipe online, then I'll link to it in the video description box. But otherwise, it is in Nigelissima, which, I mean, I really recommend that cookbook. So I might actually just stir this in to start, and then I'll kind of give it a
sometimes
bit
you
of a
get
whisk
flour
together,
everywhere, don't you?
because I think that will be a bit easier.
Yeah, it's just always, I find when any sort of electric mixer, however it is, once you actually, you want to add in the flour, it tends to go off in clouds. Icing sugar is even worse. The messes I've made with icing sugar before.
I know, that's awful. I remember the worst kind of mess I made in the kitchen. This was also in Kingston, actually, was I made these gingerbread loaves.
I remember you telling me about that. Oh gosh.
Yes, and they took is it black tree? What is it? Black tree?
Molasses.
Molasses. That's right. A huge amount of molasses, and the stickiness just seemed to go everywhere.
I think she means literally because it was on
over
the
me,
walls.
over like the KitchenAid, just over everywhere, and I never made them again because it was just so like put off by that experience. And I don't actually even like molasses very much.
No, it's too strong for you. I have a recipe that Miranda really likes, which is a milder one.
Gingerbread, yes.
Yeah.
I only like sort of really quite mild gingerbread.
If you like ginger, it's just the darkness of the molasses,
Yes.
I think. I'm not so fond of. I suppose it's a bit like, we get a bit spoiled in the UK because you have so many choices, but of course a lot of golden syrup, which is I suppose closest to what? Corn syrup in the US, but it's a little bit more like honey and corn syrup in taste if you mix it.
Much lighter.
Yeah. Well, then molasses, for sure. Yeah.
But yes, that was one of those kitchen moments that live on in the memory. I am looking forward to this. The only hard part about this cake is you really are meant to wait till the next day.
Which does
to
sometimes,
have it,
you're thinking,
which,
like, it
can
smells so
be
good when
hard.
it comes out too. And
Yeah.
I'm ready for a slice. But no, it's worth waiting for. We do wait.
Yeah, and it is worth waiting for. But it's smelling nice.
It is.
Okay, I think it's ready actually
Great.
to pour in to the tin.
Sweetie. Hold that for you.
Thank you.
So good.
Yes. Well, I hope our neighbour likes it too.
Oh, I don't think you can go wrong.
No,
Not with banana bread like this.
I agree. I think most people would enjoy it. Even if you're not a huge fan of banana bread, it's actually worth trying because the coffee really adds a lot of depth to the flavour, doesn't it?
It does.
It just makes a perfect weekend breakfast loaf.
And who could ask for more with the weekend coming up?
Exactly. Okay,
Super.
I'm going to pop this in the oven. Looks good. So I thought we could have a chat just while the cake is baking. I actually just had some exciting things come in the post that I wanted to show you. And then also I wanted to talk a bit about my goals for this year and the routines that I've been putting into place so far in January and what's been really working for me, in case it's helpful for you too. But let's just start with the post, because a lovely coincidence, I got a parcel from the British Library with their latest crime classic, which is Murder as a Fine Art by Carol Carnac. She also wrote under the pen name E.C.R. Lorac, and I like a lot of her mysteries. So along with the Lettuce Cooper one I just told you about, I'm also excited to give this one a go. I don't actually know anything about it, but it says, when a civil servant at the newly formed Ministry of Fine Arts is found crushed beneath a monstrous marble bust after dark, it appears to be the third instance in a string of fatal accidents at the department. Well, we know those are never accidents. Already disturbed by rumours of forgeries and irregularities in the ministry's dealings, Minister Humphrey David is soon faced with the possibility that among his colleagues is a murderer. Though how the bust could have been made an instrument of death is a masterstroke of criminal devilment. Sounds exciting. Taking charge of the case, Inspector Julian Rivers of Scotland Yard enters a caustic world of fine art and civil service grievances to unveil a killer hiding in plain sight. I can't wait to give this one a go too. That sounds like fun. And then there was a lovely surprise in the post from my mum, who knows me so well, and she got me this beautiful print. I've actually been looking at this artist's work for years, I think, but hadn't ever bought anything from her. But my mum just got me this print as a surprise, and I'm so thrilled with it. It's a Snowdrop Theatre, and the artist's name is Polly Mabel on Etsy. I'll put a link to it in the video description box. And I just love her stuff. I mean, I love floral artwork, so all of her prints are just the kind of thing that I adore. But my mum knows how much I love snowdrops. She got this for me as a little gift for handing my book in earlier in January, and I just think it couldn't be a lovelier one. I love that she chose snowdrops for me because they're such a wonderful symbol of coming spring and fresh hope and renewal, but also resilience. I love snowdrops. So this is definitely a print I'm going to cherish and will always remind me of my very first book. So how special is that? I can't wait to get it framed because then we can get it up on the wall, but I just love it. And then there was a sweet little card enclosed from Polly as well, which I think is lovely. So yes, I'm just so thrilled with that. But anyway, let's talk about morning routines, evening routines, and goal setting, because I definitely have a lot of writing goals for one thing this year. I will be writing another book, which I'm so excited about. I also want to write a novel this year. That's been a goal for such a long time, but I really want this year to be the year that I somehow make that work. So that's really important to me. But having big goals means being even more productive, trying to take care of my health so that I can be productive as well. But also a big part of productivity for me is in my morning and evening routines, because that not only helps me keep healthy and keep going, because it helps me to sleep better and feel more organized, but it just is a way that I keep up with my planning and keep my goals in mind. And that's so important in order to achieve any goal. You need to keep focusing on it. So having a morning routine that essentially just sets me up for success, both long-term and short-term in the day-to-day, is something that's been on my mind for many years. I've always experimented with my morning routines. I've changed it around at different times in my life when I needed to do things differently. And from the start of January this year, I've been really thinking hard about my morning routine and what I want to do every day in this year going forward, or at least every weekday. So I do get up very early. I get up at 5:30 a.m. and I do that for a number of reasons. One, I do my best work in the mornings, but two, a real focus for me this year is also exercise, and I'm putting that to the morning because one of the best productivity tips there is if you want to accomplish something, then do it in the morning. So because I also though want to do a lot of work in the morning, I still want to fit exercise in, but that means I do have to get up early so I can still get to my desk at kind of normal working hours, but having already exercised. So that's a big thing for me. And I personally just get too tired by the evenings to be able to exercise then. I just know that I just don't end up doing it. If I say I'll do it in the evening, it just doesn't work. I was able to do that for years in my 20s, but maybe it's because I'm not so far off 40 now. I don't know what it is, but I can't do it anymore. I just get too tired. So I'm doing it in the morning. And another thing that I really have enjoyed starting in my mornings, and that is a big goal for me this year as well, is to have an early morning walk each day. I showed you a bit of my early morning walk this morning, and I'm really loving this part of my morning routine, because one thing that I want as well is to have better what they call sleep hygiene, just better sleep in general, because I find if I get more anxious, it can be overwhelming sometimes, just the amount that I set myself to get through. And I find that I don't always sleep so well if that happens. So one of the best tips they say to make sure that you sleep well is not only to get up at the same time every morning, but it's also to go out and get in the fresh air, get in the sunlight. Even on a cloudy day, it's just really important to get outside as early as possible in the morning. Now, because it's winter, the sunrise is quite late, so it's not really very bright until about 8:30. I'm normally going out at about 8:15 and having a sort of 10-15 minute walk, and that's just perfect for me. And I have been finding that that's actually been helping me with sleep and also just waking up and feeling good in the morning. And one of my other goals this year is that I want to keep a nature journal. In a post I wrote for my Seasons of Story community at the start of the year, I wrote about my note-taking habits and how important they are for me in terms of content planning and just remembering everything I have to remember, because I generally am juggling quite a few balls in the air at the same time, as any content creator and writer is. So my notebooks are really important to me. But I also want to develop more of a kind of personal note-keeping habit. So I'm not very good at sticking to diaries, but I would really like to try to keep a nature journal / diary this year and be more consistent with that. And my morning routine of going for a little walk is actually really helping me with this. So this is my nature journal, which I love. And what I'm doing is after I go for my walk, then I come back for breakfast, and over breakfast, I just jot down some notes from the walk in my journal. And I just find that a really nice way of kind of staying present in the moment, appreciating the beauty of nature surrounding me, and writing it down helps me remember it better. So that's a journaling practice that I have started doing in the mornings as well. And doing it over breakfast helps me a lot. I also tend to plan like sketch out my plan for the day at breakfast time. I do have a monthly, weekly and daily planner, and the daily plan is what I also do at breakfast. So I'm not writing like pages and pages in this, just a few lines, but still it helps me remember the day, and it would be so nice to look back on this over the course of a year. So that's been going well. Journaling is a big part of my morning routine in a way, and I've struggled for a long time finding a sort of happy medium with journaling in the mornings, because I don't want anything that takes too long. As you can tell, I'm packing quite a lot into my mornings already. I do 1 hour of exercise with the Tracy Anderson method, and I do my walk, my breakfast or my journaling. So I don't have a lot of time. Obviously I'm getting dressed and showered and all of that every day too, but I want to be at my desk ready for work at a reasonable time. So I don't want to spend forever journaling, but I do think it's important to do certain types of journaling. So I am essentially doing 2 journals in the 15 minutes I have when I'm just drinking some water. I've put my little heater on in my bedroom to let it warm up a bit before I exercise, just so it's not stone cold when I start my exercise. So I've got like 15 minutes in the morning before I start exercising, and that's when I do these 2 journals. And this is the 5-minute journal. This is a gratitude journal I've spoken about before. So I like this because I think starting your day with gratitude is such a wonderful way to start the day. And it's quick to do this, which I also like. You write 3 things that you're grateful for, and 3 things that will make the day great. And you have a daily affirmation. And that's the bit that you do in the morning. This is what you do in the evening, and you write 3 highlights of the day. And then they ask the question, what did I learn today? Which sometimes that takes me a little while to think of an answer to. But I do like this. I've done this before, and I fell out of the habit a while ago. So I'm hoping that I can kind of keep the habit of this one, because I do actually really like having the 5-minute gratitude journal. But a brand new journal to me this year, which actually really ties in with my goals for the year and my productivity, is this one, the High 5 Daily Journal. And this one has been designed by Mel Robbins, who I really like. I don't know if you know any of her books, but she wrote The 5-Second Rule. She wrote The Let Them Theory. That's her most recent book, which I just read and really enjoyed. She's got a great podcast, which I really recommend listening to if you're also interested in like self-development and productivity. And she's really inspiring to listen to. And I really like her work because I think it's very practical and easy to apply to real life. So that's always good. And I got this journal that she designed, and I really like it. It's the kind of perfect morning journal for me, because it kind of does everything that I want from my morning journaling routine. So it starts with kind of grounding yourself in your body. You take a deep breath, you put your hands on your heart, and you say, I'm okay, I'm safe, I'm loved. Then you write down 1 thing you can see, touch, hear, and smell. In 1 word, you express how you feel. You have to fill in, I deserve a high 5 today because, I normally say because I got up at 5:30 a.m. And it says the next time you pass the mirror, prove it, give yourself a high 5. And this is part of her theory that is behind one of her books, I think called The High 5 Theory or The High 5 Habit, something like that, which I want to read. And then there's a bit here that's to clear your mind. So you're meant to write down any worries or thoughts, notes, to-do lists, that type of thing in this section. I like this because it reminds me of the morning pages, the Artist's Way thing, but you don't have to write 3 whole pages, which I like. But you can just write down kind of what's on your mind. And then in this bit, it says, write 5 things you want, big or small, today or in your lifetime. So you write 5 goals. And again, that can be goals for what you want to accomplish today, in a week, in a month, in a year, in your lifetime, whenever. You write those goals down each day. And then this is a bit I really like. It says, describe the small actions you could take to inch closer to the things you want. And you're meant to write down what you need to do each day in order to accomplish those goals. So say my goal is to have a novel published, right? It's very easy to just picture that end result, that end goal. And a lot of people just sort of visualize the end result of something. And what Mel Robbins says is actually very important with goal setting and sort of visualizing achievements is you actually have to visualize the tiny steps along the way that will get you to that goal. So what I visualize is making time each day to just sit down and like try and work on my novel. Essentially, you're not visualizing the glamorous outcome that is so easy to visualize. You're visualizing the nitty-gritty hard stuff of every day. It's like if I have a fitness goal, I have to visualize the getting up at 5:30, getting into my workout clothes even when it's really cold and I don't want to, and just doing it anyway. And that's what I have to visualize. Not, how fit I'll look in a year or something. You visualize those everyday steps that will get you that end result. So you fill that in and then you just spend a little bit of time visualizing. And I love this journal. I think that it's really effective. Like I said, a big part of achieving a goal is to focus on it. So what I like about this journal is it keeps top of mind every morning what I'm working towards, what I want to achieve, and helps you to visualize even those everyday hard, sort of unglamorous things that you have to do. I think if you think of a goal that you've achieved in your life, then you know that how you got there was by doing the unglamorous, often difficult things every day and just not giving up and just keeping going. That's how you achieve goals. And I love this notebook because that's what it emphasizes and it keeps that in your mind. So I've been really enjoying this one, really impressed. And like I said, I love Mel Robbins. When I'm doing my hair in the morning and stuff, I tend to put her podcast on at the moment anyway, and I'm just really enjoying it. So I would recommend checking that out. And yes, those are my sort of goals for the year, how I'm working towards them, how I'm setting up a morning routine that will hopefully help me to achieve those goals for the year. My evening routine is important as well, but that for me is very much more about winding down, putting away screens. That, it's just proven time and time again how important it is to get off your phone, get off the laptop, put those screens away well before bed if you want to get a good night's sleep. And that's always my focus for my evening routine, is how can I set myself up to sleep well, because that's so important. So I hope you found this little chat helpful. Let me know if you have a morning routine that you find helps you to achieve any of your goals, or if you have journaling as a habit. I'd really be interested to know. But I better go check if that cake is ready, so I'll see you in a bit. And here's the cake, fresh out of the oven. I just turned it out of its tin. It smells amazing. So it's got to cool completely, and then we're going to enjoy this tomorrow. Hi again, everyone. So it's the next morning. We've got a slice of our banana bread, coffee banana bread.
Yes, breakfast
I can't
bread
wait to try.
Yeah.
A cup of tea.
Yeah.
And some magazines to look at too. I've got the Simple Things. Still having a read through the January edition. Yeah. Which is lots of fun. And what do you have?
I've got Country Life, which I love. It's a weekly magazine here.
Yes.
I always really enjoy it. So,
yes. Yeah. So yes, we've both got our magazines.
We love magazines, don't we?
We do, yes.
Yeah.
And it's a real part of the sort of weekend treat, isn't it?
Yes.
To have a more leisurely morning when you actually have time to have a nice breakfast, read a magazine. Shall we try the cake?
Yeah, let's try.
I couldn't find this recipe on Nigelia's website, by the way, but I have linked to her basic banana bread, which is very nice too. But if you have Nigelissima, then it's in that. Is it nice?
It's lovely.
It's always so good.
It gives you a real coffee hit, actually. When
You should probably be having coffee rather than
I didn't think of that. Never mind, I'll swap to coffee later.
Yes.
There might be a second slice in my morning routine today.
It is. It's such a lovely.
It's very moist. It really lasts well, and it's just a lovely, delicious. Thank you.
You're welcome. This is lovely.
It is.
But anyway, thank you so much as always for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you've been having a good start to the year. Can't believe we're almost into February now.
Oh, I know.
I know.
I know.
But yes, thank you for watching. An extra big thanks to those of you who pressed the super thanks button on my last video. As always, I so appreciate your support. But I'll be back again with another video very soon. So see you then. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.